Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus again, and this is a little later on in the day, the first day of November. It happens to be on a Sunday, also the first day of the week. However, many of us will be assembling ourselves together today in supposedly in honoring the supreme power. We are supposed to be responding to scripture indicating that we should use the seventh day in glorifying and honoring that particular power that none, even the totality of humankind, could equal to. And that day, according to scripture, time kept was yesterday. So it indicates even here, beginning here, we choose the day of worship, which is the first day of the week, as opposed to the day that is in service to God, the seventh day, which was yesterday. And so by doing this as the first day of the week, which is the days that represents what all of the rest of the week is about, and that is about man and man's rule, and it basically indicates that we use this day to disregard the truth and represent a lie, choosing to represent a lie as an escape to say that we still representing the truth, while giving all the power, the glory, and the existence to the lie, to the deception, to evil. Ladies and gentlemen, in essence, that's what we do every Sunday. And when we think about it, we are assembling ourselves in these situations, whether we are collectively coming together, personals, or whether we're doing this virtually or some other means. We are on this particular day a gathering of some of the most hateful and painful and heartless individuals in our society, and that is as it should be. The church, supposedly, if people are going to assemble themselves, is an indication where people go to assemble themselves, not necessarily to hear someone tell them about the history of the church, of the power of the faith. You can get that too. But basically what it's to do is to uplift what is being expressed in our daily exercise, to come together basically and to glorify God on the Sabbath day, because he has given you the ability, he has given you the insight, given you the wisdom and the agility to go forward and to expose a certain degree of this evilness, and at the same time to generate some optimacy in what's going to happen, because the people can now put faith in what's going to happen because they're playing a major role in what is going to happen. But ladies and gentlemen, I must tell you that the enemy of evil is persistent and is out there everywhere. You know, as I was saying, some of these people that are in churches today are those who sit up and try to represent God. Many of them are in situations where they have spouses and they are unequally yoked together, basically meaning one has been called to do a work of God and another has not. And there's an inconsistency in about how you proceed in a life like that. And you got problems starting right there. You're not going to have the other one agreeing because they just can't see that yet. And usually the hope is that in time they'll come around. But they might come around, ladies and gentlemen, in time, but it might not be your time. And so in essence, what you've done, allowed time to be wasted, because had you been even just by yourself believing in the truth, you could have been energized and powerized to move on. But when you got the struggles, there's somebody that's dragging you down, holding you back. And I'm saying that in any situation of life. It doesn't have to be in God's work. It's just being unequally yoked together, you know, having an ambition that is perhaps so different from the other's ambition. And one seems to cause a problem with the other. And so you have these kinds of things going on. So what do you do, ladies and gentlemen? You got to make some changes. You got to make some choices. We have here today where we have the people of America saying that though they know that the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, represents that which they have been taught to believe was anti-ethical. They say, though they know he possessed all of these qualities, they still choose him out of others who have sought out to represent them. They choose him because he has given them what they want. And what has he given them? He has given them, they say, well, first of all, a indication that they will be able to impose their will on the people of this nation for generations to come, because when it comes down to bottom line issues, they have stacked all the courts who in effect determines what is really acceptable within the Constitution. They have stacked that to go their way. And whether you like it or not, whether you are in that minority, you got to accept it. That's what they are saying. And since you know what kind of character that this president has, because he's reflected to you every day, and since you know that they've accepted that to get what they want, basically means that this is also their character. They are some evil people. They are very evil people, and anybody that would deny others food, clothing, and shelter, anybody that would deny anyone health care and education is as evil can be, especially when all of the resources that are essential for this to happen have been given from power. You can't see God. And it's been given even to this degree that people use their bodies, to the degree that people use their minds, use their hands to do the laying on that people might be healed. To the degree that all of these wonderful things happen by the power of God, there are still institutions set up legally to prevent others from having it, making sure that it's impossible for everybody to have it at the same time. That doesn't matter where you're at every period in time, there's going to be someone going through some pain. At every period in time, there's going to be someone suffering. And when they are there suffering, I mean, yes, ladies and gentlemen, when they are out there suffering, and somebody else is smiling, having a real good time, thanking those who made it possible for them to be having a good time and not out there with those that are suffering. And those that are out there suffering are suffering by the hands of those of you who benefit. Those that are suffering are out there because and at the hands of those of you who benefit. You have said it is okay. You have said it is okay. The Democrats have tried to hold back a little bit, pretending Donald Trump comes in and exposes everything. This country is filled with evilness. And so that's the path we're at. Today, the people come along and say, we want this man because he gives us jobs. He gives us money. He let us keep our guns. We want it. This is how freedom is lost. Because next time it'll be doubly worse. In fact, with another term of Donald Trump, I can't see a return with America. It'll end up with perhaps some war coming along sometime in the future, with some other nation fighting for your freedom here in America, fighting Americans to free you from the government that you created. Isn't that something strange? And still, people resist God, but they're sitting up in these churches and sitting up in these virtual situations. Spouses can't stand one another. I guarantee you, among the people who go to church, there have been less love-making than any of the people who don't go to church. In fact, I would suspect that most of the lovemaking with people that go to church is with someone outside of your significant other. Why do I say that? For the same reason, half of the population of marriage population is divorced. Lies are didn't mean any harm. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. And why is that? Because people are not satisfied. They are not satisfied. And they look for everything they possibly can that might be available to them in hopes that it might be bringing them some type of satisfaction. And everything that's possible to them is being marketed as well to them. Somebody trying to benefit from it, trying to make some money out of it for the same reason, to bring them some satisfaction in life, something that's beneficial, some completeness. And it's a vicious cycle. Because you don't know the secret of love. The secret of love is life. Love is God. Allow that spirit to live in you, to make sure that you represent God. Making sure that you represent God. It doesn't matter what the rest of the country does. It doesn't matter whatsoever. It's you making sure that you represent God. That means that you are listening to, as the sun shines on me right now. You can't see the sun shining on me, but I'm telling you, it's shining on me bright. Just as that sun is shining on me, you allow the Spirit of the living God, invisible, to shine straight on you. And it is love. Love is caring for others as you care for yourself. That's what love is. Love is saying to God, I'm thankful to know you are with me. I'm thankful to know what love is, to know what you are to me and what I am without you. What I am without you is where I come from. The American way. But with you, I'm with the heavenly way. I can see all the problems in America and my heart cries out. And I look toward your way and I can see the answer to every last one of those problems. And I can stand up and share with the people what you have shown me and try to see if I can, I got a big mouth. I thought I had a bigger mouth than I do, but I really don't, because people not paying any attention. I wanted to articulate that beautiful world of way of life in God's way to the people who are struggling, going through all these changes, trying to figure out, should we vote for the devil again in 2020 or to go back to the way that the devil was created, and totally rejected. That means all of the stuff that I've been saying for years haven't sunk in anywhere. Ooh, Lord, I'm so sad I failed you. But I do understand. My wife, almost 40 years, that was for sure 38. Those of you who pay some attention to me know that sometimes I produce 2 or 3 posts a day. My wife doesn't listen to a single one. Not a single one. Well, in the beginning, she probably was kind of hoping that the American people could see what I'm speaking about. But the American people haven't seen. And so some point in time, she saw it as being a waste of time. And rather than try to be a part of, let's go ahead on and make it if it's nobody but us, she decided that we got to live. And in order to live, we got to play to the tunes of the role of this evil American system of doing things. And so I look back at the people who are out here on Sunday, the first day of the month, trying to say they're glorifying God, which is said on the 7th day, and understand why evil runs the show. Because God's people, as I look out here and say who is standing up, people realize that the reason that they got the right to vote, those people who had been denied, is because people gave their lives for that. And the reason that they're losing it now is because people stop standing up, willing to give their lives to maintain it. And so, as I look out here, this heavenly field, as I look out here, this heavenly way of love, I don't see anybody. I don't see people out there. Because I look over here where all these people want to go over there in the heavenliness, heaven on earth. But nobody's willing to give up this evil. Nobody's willing to turn their back on it by saying we don't want to be a part of a place where people can be sick and can't get to a doctor. We don't want to be a part of a place where people are treated in such a way inhumanely. We don't want to be. No, people won't say that. They won't say it. So they'll just hang over here, saying they want to get over there. And then somebody come over here and tell you that if you just believe something, that when you die, they're going to accept you over here. And I know that's what you hope. You believe that. I'm not saying it's not true, but I tell you what, it's a chance I wouldn't take. Nobody. I would be over here, letting over here know that I believe in over here. And you can believe that I believe in over here because I'm doing everything over here to see if it can happen over here too. And when I die, whenever that is, that's out of my hands. Everybody know what I want. I want heavenliness. Whether I get it or not, that's still what I want. So ladies and gentlemen, I think I've said enough, and I want to thank you so very much for giving me this your time. I guess in summary, I just wanted to say that for so many of us to be getting together talking about in service to God and honoring God, it is amazing that we would choose to do it on a day that has been determined as an inappropriate time to do it. And at the same time, we can look at that and see the weakness of what we represent and the strength of what we give our allegiance to. And that's what runs the world.